Hello everyone, and thank you for being here. I am your Shakti guide, Helene Westlund, and I welcome you to the Shakti Flow Summit, where we learn how to embrace our feminine flow to receive more joy, balance, and energy in life. In this circle, no time exists, so everyone who watches or listens to this now or later are all included in the energy of this circle right now. And today we are talking to a wonderful teaching expert. It's Lisa Marie Rosati. She's a business mentor and lifestyle expert, the creatrix of the Goddess Lifestyle Plan and Sugar-Free Goddess, expert columnist for Aspire magazine, international best-selling author and high priestess of Goddess Lifestyle, Sisterhood, and School of Magical Living. Believing that women can have it all, Lisa has created a thriving global brand that teaches women how to step into their feminine power in each key area of life. It's Lisa's passion to teach ambitious, soulful women how to create an abundant, purpose-filled, vibrant, healthy life and prosperous laptop online business they love. Yeah, hi Lisa.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm really great. How are you?
I am fine. It's nice to finally speak with you. We've been trying to do this for a while.
Yes, that's true. Divine timing, right? Mother Nature had a different idea for us.
Exactly. So the topic today is, feminine flow. And like we discussed earlier, I want to start to hear what you say about feminine power, what it means to you.
Well, when you say the term feminine power, a couple of things come to mind for me. It's about a woman being courageous enough to be vulnerable and to be in flow of the reality of what is in her life at the particular moment. Because life's change, it's a living thing. So sometimes we're really thrilled with the circumstances, and sometimes we're really not thrilled with the circumstances. There are things that are outside of our control that happen all the time. And really, a woman truly being in her feminine power to me is being able to respond to those changes, to those situations and realities that don't serve what our vision is in that moment, instead of reacting to them.
Yeah.
You know, and also one thing when I think about feminine power, it's a woman who's on the path of growing, expanding, and becoming the most powerful and healthy version of herself possible.
Mm. And yeah, I got that question actually from your support team, but I love the question. What's insidious beliefs keep women from stepping into their feminine power?
Well, there's a couple, but the ones that are the most common that I've seen, that's the common thread throughout the women that are attracted to my work and that I've worked with over the years is, number one, the who am I? Who am I to have all of this abundance? Who am I to be an expert on X, Y, and Z? Who am I to dare shine?
Yes.
And the other one is, will I be judged and will I be loved if I do show the world or speak my truth? Yeah. So ultimately, it really boils down to fear. Fear of not being enough and fear of being too much.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's common fears.
Yeah.
Why is it so important for women today to use this feminine power in life?
Well, I consider myself, I don't want to say a feminist, but I am pro-woman for sure.
Yeah. And
when I say that, it doesn't mean anti-man or anti-masculine, because I love the masculine. However, I do believe that women need to, let me give some thought before I answer completely. But what I feel is that women stay far too long in situations that don't serve them because they are not able to financially care for themselves. And because of that, women stay too long in toxic relationships, in marriages that don't serve, in soul-sucking jobs that don't make them happy and is actually stealing their days and stealing their wellness, right? And so for me, when I think about a woman stepping into her feminine power, she's empowering herself to learn how to create whatever financial reality she chooses, which then gives her choices. See, so that's what that means to me. When a woman can create her own money and her own revenue, she now has choices to leave that toxic relationship, to leave that soul-sucking job. I also believe that women think, and we're wired this way, it's not anti-man, but we're wired to think more globally, more communally. Yeah. We think on a bigger spectrum. And it's been far too long that men have been making all the decisions. So when the wealth of the world is in the hands of the feminine, I believe there'll be more consciousness, more conscious decisions, and hopefully a lot less atrocities. So it's twofold, but it's most important about women having choices and also changing the dynamic of the world as we have it right now.
Yes. And why is it so important to be a part of a community of like-minded women?
Yeah, well, we are hardwired to need community, right? Back when we were created, or when we were first, civilized people, the women stayed back in the cave and the men went out and hunted and gathered, right? They hunted and brought home the food, and the women stayed together. They raised the children together. They passed on the traditions from grandmother to daughter, and this is how it was done. Women need community. We also process things very differently than men. Women like to talk things through. We process by talking, by banging something, a thought off of somebody else. So what happens is when we are looking to expand in any way, most likely the people in our immediate world, family, close friends, they're not into so much what we're into expanding into. So when we want to talk with them or put an idea by them, they don't see the bigger picture because they're not like-minded. We love them. Our families, we can't change our family. They're our family, but I'll speak for myself. I have very little in common with my family. If I told them I wanted to start an online business and coach online, they would have said, "Are you crazy? Who's going to pay you to do that?" That would have just stopped me right in my tracks. But instead, I surrounded myself with women that said, "Hey, that's an awesome idea. Figure it out and then show me how to do it too." So we actually thrive when we're in a community of like-minded women.
Yeah. How can create financial and time freedom?
Yeah.
Why is it so important?
It's so important because I'll tell you what, I raised 3 children and I was home for them, and I was able to serve the world and make a very good living doing all of it at the same time. Instead of having to leave the house, leave my children, and not everybody has children, but financial and time freedom, I feel, is truly being abundant. Because you can't get back the minutes that you spend somewhere. If you're spending time doing something you don't love, you don't get that time back. So for me, I'm very passionate about women who really want to bust that old paradigm of the job and create their life that kind of fulfills their desires. Yeah. For me, when I was raising my children, I'm going to say it. It's just my truth. Mothering wasn't enough for me. And that took me years to be able to say without feeling completely embarrassed to say it, shameful to say that. Who's not completely fulfilled having amazing children? But it wasn't enough for me. I really felt the call to do something more. So I was constantly looking for something I could do, but most things took me outside of the home. And then when I started life coaching, I'm like, well, I love life coaching. How can I make it so that I can actually life coach at home or do this business from home and be here when my kids, I could schedule my day to be done when my kids come home off the bus, and I'm able to have dinner with them, and I could take off whenever I want, and I'll literally create my life the way I want it to be. And that's what I was able to do. So having that time freedom is incredible. And then to be, financially compensated very well for just sharing your own gifts, that's an incredible way to live.
Yeah, that is beautiful. But how do you be both soulful and have a successful business at the same time?
Well, that's the beauty of the masculine and the feminine. Now,
Yeah.
most people who meet me, they say, well, Lisa, you're very feminine. You're very girly when they look at me. I've got long hair and I wear makeup and I wear dresses and all the things that the girls do. But I'm very masculine aligned. I'm very, very goal oriented. And I am very, very okay with having big desires. And it is very feminine to step into your power and actually say, you know what? Because the feminine is not all fluffy. That's true too. You know, let's talk a little bit on that. If you look at any goddess studies, there are some very badass feminine archetypes out there. They will put you over the coals, some of the feminine archetypes. I mean, you know, being a queen of your life, queens make hard decisions too, you know, and it's not about the flow and the being open to receiving. That's one aspect of being feminine, but also being able to say no, let your no be your no and your yes be your yes. That's extremely feminine as well. And when you say no, you're going to piss some people off. You have to be courageous enough to say, I really am sorry that you're upset about this, but no is my answer. Period. That's also feminine. So it's very, when you say, well, it's not feminine to make money or it's not spiritual to make money, well, that's just simply not true. The divine gave you gifts in order for you to share them, not keep them to yourself, but share them and then be compensated for them.
Yes.
So it's extremely feminine and spiritual to share your gifts and be compensated for them.
Yeah. So how do you know when to use your masculine energy and your feminine energy so you don't, how do you keep the balance?
Yeah, that's a great question. Really great question. Because the truth of the matter is there is no keeping balance. It's a constant moving thing. There are some days I'm way too in my feminine and I need to get more focused, more goal oriented, get that to-do list done. And then there's sometimes that I'm on that to-do list and obsessed. And if I don't get through it, I'll literally put toothpicks in my eyes, exhausted, pushing myself towards burnout. That's too masculine. You feel it, because when your masculine and feminine is balanced, you feel more in flow. You're happier. When you're pinched up and not getting crap done and pissed about it, that is so not okay. You know that's pretty much the indicator. Like, this is not, I'm way too much in my masculine right now. And it shows up. It's not a natural state for women to be masculine. Our core energy is feminine. So every living creature is a makeup of masculine and feminine, every living creature. So the point is that even though our core energy as women is feminine, we still need masculine energy. We still have masculine energy. But when you deny the feminine, that refilling of the vessel, that receiving of help, that flow that you want to feel, that juicy flow of like, I have work-life balance, that's when you head into burnout. And burnout doesn't feel good. So my answer to that question is, if it doesn't feel good, or you're not feeling good about how much you're accomplishing, you know you need to take a look at where you're led. Are you going too much towards the masculine or too much towards the feminine? And then make the adjustment from there. But it's an everyday thing. Everyday thing.
Yeah.
Change.
What is too much feminine and what is too much masculine?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you have too much masculine, you will not, you just drive yourself till you're sick. Because anything you do too much of, pushing, and the striving, it does lead to a physical manifestation of dis-ease of the body. That could show up as adrenal fatigue. It could show up as depression. It could show up as, really low self-esteem. It does manifest, because energy will manifest physically at some point in time as dis-ease of the body in some way, shape, or form. I've had times where I felt completely unsupported and my back has gone out. And they say that when your back goes out, it's because you're feeling energetically unsupported. So, for me as an empowered feminine, I always say, well, how can I support myself better? It's not about other people supporting me more, although that would be lovely, but that's very princessy. That's not very empowered. That's not very queenly. So I mother myself, I father myself, and I really try to nurture myself, my inner child, and keep myself very balanced. I just check in, like, what am I needing right now? What's the little girl inside of me needing from me right now? And that's regarding business. In my love relationship, I make sure to ask for what I need all the time, because that's very feminine to ask for what you need. Like, I need to be babied right now. Like, for a woman like me, that's not easy to say, you know, but I do need it sometimes. And I'm courageous enough and open enough to ask for it.
Yeah. I'm from the witch line of women. So we work a lot with the moon and the different phases of the moon in the year. And I believe you use the moon's different phases too. Can you talk a little about that?
Well, I definitely route witch archetype for sure, although I don't consider myself a witch or a Wiccan 100%. I mean, I definitely am a magical person. I've always worked magic and worked with universal law and cast spells and rituals, and I think it's a beautiful way to be. But working with the moon is very important, especially for women, I feel, because we're cyclical creatures to begin with. Our own cycle, menstruation, follows a lunar type of thing every 28 days. So as women, we also correspond to the moon, right? The feminine and the moon correspond to each other. The goddess is moon energy, as the god is solar energy. So when you look at that and you start tapping into the moon, I mean, for me in business, I set intentions every month, personal and business-wise, with new moon. I definitely manifest towards full moon. Full moon, I'll do some sort of ritual. It'll either be on the beginning side of the window of the full moon, where I'll be calling in something very powerfully, going for it, or if I decide to cast, I either call in or release with full moon. And if I'm releasing during full moon, I do it on the latter part of the window when it's in a waning, the night after the full moon, and then I'll release. And then dark moon, I go inward and really think about where I'm at, what I want, whatever inner transformation that I'm looking for. And then new moon, I begin again. And it's a fantastic way for women to get into the flow of the universe, of the cycles of nature. We're very comfortable there. Now, that's not to say it feels comfortable at first to anybody, because we weren't taught this. This is not how we were raised, unless we were raised in a household of lineage of witches, you know. But for women who are new to the idea of living, you know, nature-based pagan religion or belief systems, you know, it's a wonderful way, just tapping into the lunar cycle to start to get familiar with it. And then, of course, you know, there's magical workings and personal transformation workings that are accurate for each season of the year. Yeah. So, truth be told, it's the first personal growth, you know, system ever created, you know, magical.
Definitely is. So why is the myth that keeps most women stuck and not creating a goddess life?
Fear. It's always back down to fear. I mean, we are very, very fear oriented. We kind of touched on that in the beginning, like, who will love me if I don't do everything everybody wants? Listen, back before I started this work, I'm a people pleaser. If everybody's happy, I'm happy. Just want to see people happy. And when I say people, that means my closest relationships, my children, my parents when I was a kid, you know, my life partner now. I want to just see them happy. And the truth of the matter is that sometimes you just can't make somebody happy, because it has nothing to do with you. Everybody has to make their own self happy, right? Mm-hmm. So back before I did this work and I was really plugged into standing in my own power, I was codependent. Like, if my children were upset, then I was upset. And I would contort myself to make them happy. Even before that, I would contort myself to make my parents happy. And then I'd be pissed that I contorted myself to make my parents happy. But the point is, you can't make anybody happy. You have to make yourself happy first and foremost. And I think it's always about fear, and it's about healing those parts of you that feel like you're responsible for everybody else's experience. You're only responsible for your own experience.
Yes, that's true. And you have a goddess lifestyle alchemy. What tell me about that. What is it?
Well, the process of alchemy is very much about, I mean, it's a mystical process, right? We know that the philosophers of centuries ago spent much time trying to turn lead into gold. And basically, when I teach magical living, it's very symbolic. The divine speaks symbolically, not so literally. So how I view it is turning shit into something good. You know, so if a goddess lifestyle alchemy is taking the shittiest parts of your life and turning them into something awesome. So in the most layman term, that's it. Just turn shit into something good. And that's what I like to help women do, because everybody has parts of their lives that they're not particularly thrilled with. And it doesn't always stay the same. Some people stay stuck in a financial rut their whole life. Some people can't meet the love of their life. Some people hate their job and they just cannot get away from that job. So, or some women cannot lose weight no matter how much they try. They lose a little bit and they self-sabotage. So alchemy is about really drilling down and figuring out why. What's the block there? Why does that happen? And taking its shit and turning it into something good.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So what is it you have to offer us?
Okay, so my free gift that I'm offering right now ties right in. It's called the New Moon Manifestation Record.
Yeah.
It's for everyone. I encourage every woman to get right on that moon and start manifesting with her. So new moon comes around every lunar cycle, and it is basically a 3-page PDF which leads you through taking it out of your head, right? Taking it out of the element of air, that whole thought and mental realm, and putting it on paper so that you can actually look at, this is what I'm calling in this month. This is my intentions for this month. I like it to be no more than 3. The new moon manifestation comes with a whole entire prompt and directions. It'll walk you right through it. But basically, you write your intentions down. You create magical mantras around it or an affirmation around it that's going to keep you remembering and keeping you a touchstone to that affirmation or intention. Then you pull an oracle card, which gives you the theme for the month, and you put it on your altar in your sacred space to help you and keep it kind of in the forefront of your mind for that lunar cycle. And then you can print out another copy next month and do it all over again. And that helps to get women in the flow of actually beginning something new, seeding something, which is all what new moon energy is about.
Yeah. So should you do this with every part of your life, or is it only one whole life?
It could be your whole life. I mean, the thing about Goddess Lifestyle Alchemy is really sitting down and saying, you know what, where am I feeling most fulfilled in my life? And then in contrast, where am I feeling the biggest deficits or the biggest struggle? Yeah. Where do I keep finding myself struggling? So then, of course, I like to set my intentions towards things that I want to raise the vibration about. Yeah. So if it's about taking better care of myself, like, you know, if I'm finding myself working too much or out of balance with my masculine and feminine, maybe my intention this month is to set very definitive work hours and honor them. That would be an intention to help me get my work-life balance, my masculine and feminine back, you know, reined in correctly. You know, it might be taking better care of yourself, like making more fun time and me time and downtime, scheduling it in and making sure you're doing it. That's your intention that month. It might be to start, you know, automatically saving so that you can build an emergency fund or a desire fund up so that you can say yes to things when they come around and say, yeah, you know what, I really want to do that, and then have the money there to do it. So it really depends on what you want to do. Truth be told, I do this. I have an offering called the Goddess Lifestyle Sisterhood and School of Magical Living, and this is something I help my community, the women, the sisters in that group, do on a daily basis. There's daily accountability. There's all sorts of laser coaching by me. There's full moon and new moon circles. There's Sabbath circles. So if this feels really good to whoever is downloading the New Moon Manifestation Record, it feels like something yummy and like I really love this stuff. You know, I invite you to take a step closer and join the sisterhood, because there we do it all literally on a daily basis. We're intending and we manifest and release together as a group. Very powerful.
Yeah, and it's always more powerful when you're a group, and it's like you benefit from everyone's wishes and everyone's intentions.
It's true. Collective prayer, collective anything is much more powerful than you know, being a solitary. You know, and doing it on your own. So when there's a group of women, like-minded women, that are wishing or desiring something, the vibration is incredible, and it does manifest much quicker usually.
Yeah, and the circles you hold, new moon and full moon, Are they like on Zoom or is...
They're on Zoom. So we're able as a group to look at each other, really connect intimately like this, which I think is so important when you're sitting in sacred circle, is to be able to have this connection. Some of the women sometimes can't jump on video, so they download the Zoom app and they take me on the go. But it's a wonderful way for women to really tap into Mama Earth, to the divine, creating sacred circle together, understanding the magical work and the practical work for the wheel of the year, which is the changing of the seasons.
Yes.
And the personal transformation we work during that time of year specifically. So right now we're heading into fall here in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's time for shadow work and things like that. And then we're going to be, going inward so that we can create a very powerful 2018 for ourselves.
Yes, starting to plant the seeds for the next year. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, beautiful. So and I've seen incredible miracles for women within the group, because there is power in numbers.
It really is. And it's been really nice talking to you and listening to you, and the community you have seems so nice, and you're also very good friends in your circle. That's what I've heard.
Yes, I have to tell you, that's the thing. We can't always find our soul sisters where we live.
No.
But with the beauty of technology now, we're able to find women that we have deep connection with. Yeah. And my closest friend, well, I'll tell you, my sisterhood group is my favorite place in the whole wide world to hang out. So I'm there every day a lot. Yeah. And I take it very seriously. I take the word sisterhood very seriously. So, and my community and the women there have made tremendous lifelong friendships, and they have accountability partners. They really have propelled their life or business forward in leaps and bounds because of the connections.
Yes, and the connection in the group, it gives you another view of sisterhood, because, in a normal workplace and the normal friend circle, it's a lot of, often, not always, but often a lot of backstabbing and
that is something. That was my experience as well. So being the woman I am, I'm like, well, I'm just going to create my own little world. And that's what I did. And I called in a certain vibration of women. There is zero backstabbing. There is a lot of love and support, and there is no competition within our group. I've never seen anything like it. And I swear to you, it's my favorite place on earth, because we cheer each other, we support each other, and there's none of that catty stuff. So, I figure, be the change you want to see in the world. And that's what I did. I wanted a change, so I made a change in my world, and I created my own world where women support each other. And I 100% support women who do the same work as me within the group, because listen, I didn't create magic, right? So, but everybody has their own way of delivering it. And to me, what matters is their message. Their work gets out into the world. That's, to me, when I know I've done a good day's work, is that I've supported another woman in allowing her gifts to be shared.
Yes, it's so beautiful. I love sisterhood.
I love sisterhood too.
So, well, thank you very much for speaking with us today. You've been very inspiring. So I say thank you for everyone listening. I'm sure we're also excited now to do the ceremony, and I am planning on putting this out somewhere around the new moon. So
wonderful.
Hopefully we can use something of it, all of us, before we forget.
I hope it serves you and your community. Thank you for sharing my work with your community, darling.
Oh, thank you for sharing. It's been really nice talking to you. So just keep the Shakti flowing, and I will talk to you again someday. Bye.
I will. Thank you. Bye.